G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where I get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the microphone with my two idiot mates. So let's welcome in Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
BP.
So much going on this time of year. One massive event finishes and then obviously another event starts. So it's all exciting times, isn't it?
It's very exciting, mate. You came in with so little energy and you're talking about exciting times. Let's bring in the other bloke.
I got to say I'm hungry.
Okay. All right, mate.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Boyce.
We're all living that life, BP. We're all hungry until the official weigh-in today, but she floats,
Yes.
boys. The
good.
mighty OCB floats. We launched her last night. So by the time everyone listens to this, we would have actually we're thinking of maybe not going for a sail until the first heat, but just to really call it lastminute.com. But no, we're in the water. We've got our rigging. Many people have pulled me aside and asked, have you got your rigging, listening to the last episode? But as it turns out, it's been here for about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
just got sent to an office address as opposed to a home address. Yeah.
So for
For our listeners,
We are ready to roll for the Australian Etchel National Championships.
Here we go.
There
And
we
that is, of course, what we are talking about here, being hungry. We have the weigh-in today.
Yeah.
We have the weigh-in today, and I've got to say that it's been a tough week for me, but we're all good.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, there's no better way to shed 5 kilos.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm feeling good for it, actually.
I must say, it's been on the agenda for a while, but it's just forcing it to happen has made it happen.
So what are you going to do? So weigh-in was booked for 2:30, Jordan.
Yep.
And that's actually when myself and Kaylin have the admin role where we have to supervise all the registration and weigh-ins.
Mm-hmm.
But the weigh-in is being brought forward under a request from the Great White Hunter, boat of which Mr. Brett Perry sails on, to what are you going to do after the weigh-in, BP?
We're going on a winery tour.
It's funny. It's Etchels. You get all these big dudes just trying away.
It's like you say, it's a normal man's sport, this one.
Yeah.
In the Etchels.
Yeah, what I call a normal.
People are still right on.
Still struggling to be normal.
And you're there's some sort of, timing thing to it every time, no matter what.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, we do thank the organisation.
Well, best of luck, you boys. I hope you have a good
much.
one. I hope your rig stays up, Bice, for one, and the boat stays floating for 2.
It may be hanging from the mooring lines as we speak, but I haven't had a phone call yet.
As long as you put the bung in, right?
And BP, with your boat, because it's a concertina boat nowadays, do you get to choose what length each day? Like, can you push it in or pull it out? Is that how it works?
Hey, one thing I will say, of all the boats that are here, the Mold 11 boats that have had the mods done, beautiful job. Spectacular, as a matter of fact. You wouldn't know.
It is. Yeah, you wouldn't know the job's been done. And to be honest with you, on the water, we feel normal. To be honest, I guess the proof is going to be over the next week or so. But
should be good in this Adelaide swell with the big sea breezes. A bit more rocker.
Actually, will be. In all honesty,
well, it's kind of like we're going to change the boat for every event. Is that right?
That's what the whole setup is.
No, but mate, those guys have done an awesome job.
Yeah,
Innovation Composites, yes, in Nara done a great job. There we go.
So with the adjustment for the rocker now that you can adjust the rocker on those things, is it like a little a thumb
like a little worm drive,
or
no,
is it like a control
hydraulic forestay and backstay?
Okay. Yeah.
So but some pretty big things have happened in yachting in the last few months.
Right.
One, and this is a little practice for my speech tonight, actually. One, where John Bertram with his Netflix doco that came out.
Absolutely.
Who'll be here at the Etchels.
Great to see the great man.
It's the 50th year of the CYC SA this year.
Yep.
Of which that's about how long Brownie's been sailing the boats for, the Etchels. He'll be here. What else? Oh, Comanche. A lot of the Comanche crew. Well, a lot. Maybe 3% of the Comanche crew are here, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
They're competing, dominating offshore racing at the moment, and the first summer nationals in 3 years since the pandemic.
Yeah, it's damn exciting, and look, we'll probably talk a bit more about it later on. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very good week, hotly contested, and some big names out there. So looking forward to getting amongst it for sure.
We should do a bit of a dock walk on Tuesday night.
I think we should, mate.
And what's on Tuesday night, mate? As the listeners hear this.
Got something special going on.
Oh,
special.
It's a lot of 50th this year, isn't it? A lot of 50 anniversaries, BP. It's a big time.
Yes, there is.
Happy birthday.
Actually, yes.
Oh, hang on. Let me write that down. BP 50. Yeah, that links into me chat.
Okay.
Very good. Let's roll.
Lots of good ideas, lads. Good. Get into it. Best of luck. The other thing, of course, is now we sort of did jump into the Hobart. We love the Hobart because it's quite high visual here in Australia. But, of course, now one of the great races of the world is only a couple of weeks away only a week away as this goes to air, which is, of course, the ocean race. And so we're into it. We've got a bunch of different things happening about the ocean race. And one of them, of course, is revisiting with this great friend of ours. We are... As the first guest on our episode on Barkarati was Boris Herman, who is the skipper of Team Maliza, and then
correct.
Yeah,
all them years ago. All them years ago.
Yes, and then we had our current guest that we're about to talk to today also visited us not too long ago. So, with the race about to start and being so close to the team on Team Maliza, we thought, well, let's get Rosalin Kuiper in, who's living the reverse curse of Barkarati. She just goes from strength to strength after being on the episode. It's great to have you back on the show. How are you going, champ? That's you, Rosalin.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me again.
It's our pleasure.
Hey, Rosalin, is it true that it was actually you approached us? You've heard so much about the reverse curse and you're just giving it one final push for Team Maliza going into the start of the ocean race.
Sorry, what's that again?
Jordan, do you want to explain the reverse curse?
Just so you understand, we've worked out, Rosalin, when people come on Barkarati, they seem to have they win or they have great success or great results. Instead of normally when you go on, the commentator says something good about you, you normally have a curse and things go wrong. But when they come on Barkarati, we've seen just people win after win after win. And, you came on, when you first came on the show, you were looking to break into the scene and try and make it happen. And Bicey's just going, well, you've broken on the scene. You're about to do the ocean race. Are you just coming back for a little top-up of good luck?
I think so. I think so, yes, for sure.
Well, you're welcome.
I was wondering, by the way, one thing. When you start, thank you. So when you start the postcard, you hear like the ting ding, like the guitar thing, huh? Yeah. I'm always wondering if it's one of you who's doing that.
Oh,
well, could be.
Come on, BP, straight up.
I'll send you a copy, Rosalin.
Written, composed, and played by one Brett Perry.
Correct.
As a matter of fact. And I know music or TV and podcasts are a magical thing, but he doesn't actually play it every week.
Okay.
So, but he should, though. I can't wait for the live shows.
It would be funny if you start with the music and maybe Nick can do a little tune and Jordan with the singing or something.
Jordan's
it's a good
on
start.
The cowbell. Jordan's on the cowbell.
Jordan's cowbell. I'm more of a trombone player, so there's not much room for the bone in that little piece.
Careful.
And then the guest of the week, he can bring in something as well,
The tambourine.
Yeah,
maybe.
So
maybe. Something for next week. They start with the video. Next week, we make the music.
So Rosalin, where we left you last time, we had a little chuckle on the show about the Lizbot, and we probably won't visit that just in this particular episode because she's up to her own things. She's doing some pretty extraordinary things. But just give us a little fill-in in between episode 109 and where we are now, and how things just went magic.
Yeah, so I think we spoke with each other in Lisbon during the Ocean Race Europe. When I was with Chris Nicholson and Lucy and the whole Australian gang. And that was last year summer. And I think COVID, was there still COVID?
Yep.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty big. Pretty big here. Yeah. No one knows what it is in Australia.
Yeah,
and
I think
it
in
was
Europe
during COVID. It was during COVID.
Yeah, and it was kind of a little bit ending COVID, and I continued the sailing. Luckily, because in COVID there was not so much. There was not so much to do, and then I got a call in the end of last year. So in November last year from Holly. She's the team director of Team Maliza, and she asked me if I was interested in joining the team, and then I did a kind of a training to get to know them, and there was a good click. So then I joined the team, and from there it was a big roller coaster, I think.
So this is Holly.
Well,
Holly
probably hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was Holly Kuiper, who heads up that team. So how did she know you?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Do you know how did?
In the Ocean Race Europe, I sailed with Will Harris, and Will Harris was a navigator on board, and he dropped my name in the team.
Yep.
And that's how he was enthusiastic, and she called me, and then it was good.
Okay.
So when she called, Rosalin, were you just let me think about it? Here, hold my beer. I'm on a plane. Boom, gone.
Well, when she called me, I was in a bus. I remember I was in a bus, and it was a bit cold, and I was about to do some sailing, and she said, "Oh yeah, Holly here, and I got your contact via Will and Team Maliza." And I was like, "Team Maliza? Who is Team Maliza?" I have to say, I had no idea, so I was like googling, like, Team Maliza, Boris Herman. I was like scrolling. I was like, "Oh, this is a sailing team," and then
what else would you expect? A horse
racing? No, Rosalin. You may recognise Rosalin from some car racing, as a matter of fact.
Exactly, back in the days, that's how it all started. So Nate, she explained a little bit, and then we had some calls. We had some calls with Boris, and to see our intentions, and they were looking for someone like more for the long term. And I have a good feel for the program, and I really like what they do. It's not just sailing around the world, but they have a bigger mission, especially as well for like children. And when we start sailing, I really loved it. There's such nice people, and there's a good vibe in the team. And it's for me totally new world because it's an IMOCA and it's more solo-handed or double-handed. So super big challenge, and super nice, very cool.
Well, let's touch on that. You've got on the boat and you've done some sailing now. Hello, Rosalin.
It's Boris.
It's Boris. You went with those.
You're meant to be aware.
Back to
it's
my serious
brother.
question. Okay. He can wait. So you've got on the boat and you've gone sailing. What was your initial thoughts of the boats with the the foiling and the setup? And must have been a big eye-opener. I mean, I for one would love to get on a boat. So you're in a lucky position. I'd love to go for a sail on one. I'm sure other people would too.
Well, the first time I jumped on an IMOCA was on Bank Populaire with Nicolas Lunven. And I was like, this is one, these guys are crazy, and two, this is next level. It's so different, huh? We did some Port La Forêt training, so that's like in France, and then you have all these IMOCA boats, and you compete against each other. And I was a bit flabbergasted, I have to say. And in that boat, we didn't have foils. But you saw like 11th Hour and Linked Out and all these boats. We were starting and they were just flying. And for me to see that the first time, I was like screaming. I was like, "Whoa! It's so cool!" And from there I've learned so much. But still, I've made some miles now on Maliza on this IMOCA. But every time is again like it's a sensation, right? It's,
Did you, when you were on Bank Popular, of which didn't have foils, did you turn around and say to Nicholas, "Your boat's a shitter, mate. About time you upgrade"?
Yeah, that's what I did, and now he has Apivia, so I think he did a good thing.
Oh, she's a rocket ship.
Exactly.
Boat's a shitter. There we go.
Well, before we get to, let's just quickly tell everyone who's in the team. So I think I've got your team worked out. So Boris Herman, 505 sailor, so superstar from the past. Yourself, Will Harris, who's obviously you're obviously close with and has done fantastic. I think he's navigator for you guys, and Nicholas, who we were just talking about. And Axel Pillane, is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Jan Ellis. My Australian accent's terrible. Yeah. And then the onboard reporter, Antoine Aurel.
Yeah, well, you have a little bit delay on the line, Jordan.
Yeah, I can see that. I apologise. I can see it.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's the team.
No worries. Where do you live in Australia? In the desert?
The sheep are running out of puff, running on the little treadmill
don't
to
you
keep
love
the internet
Dutch?
going. So
I love
hard.
the Dutch. It's so direct. They're just so cool. I love it. I'm right on the water. Hey, I'm in the sunshine. I'm in the best part of Australia.
And the onboard reporter is
Antoine Aurel.
Antoine Aurel. No, that's correct. Yes. Yeah. So all the names are correct. Yeah.
Okay. And then you've got a big, huge team behind
Cool.
the scenes.
So who's
Go, boss.
Yes. At the moment, we have like permanently 35 people, and then plus the sailing team. Yeah.
yes?
getting
And
back up there, isn't it?
Who's the coolest person in the team, Rosalin?
Oh.
Apart from your good self,
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Yeah, Kirsten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really cool. You should meet her.
Okay.
Yeah, right. We'll keep an eye out for
What's her
Kirsten.
role?
That sounds
Throughout the
very
tour.
dangerous.
What's her role? She's the finance manager.
Oh yeah,
The one that pays you.
we should.
Of course
meet
she's
her
the
for
coolest.
sure. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I like the way you roll. Good answer.
Oh, and I'd say it in different terms, but I'll put it in more of Jordan's language. And who's the biggest idiot on your team?
Oh.
That's not a bad term either. This is a fun term.
Well, I think we have a shared role.
Okay.
We have a shared role for the biggest idiot, but it's I have to say it's a little bit like to the Australian Kiwi side of the world, and then they can figure out themselves who it is.
Rightio.
Put the boot
So the biggest idiot on the boat is an Australian or a Kiwi. Okay, we'll be
team.
researching that offline.
No, not on the boat, just in the team in
the
general.
team.
So I leave it a bit open.
Yeah,
I like it. I like what you've done. A little teaser.
Yeah, for the listeners, you can go onto the Team Maliza page, which is you can either link to it through the Ocean Race or search it, and they have introduction. They've got a whole series of videos of introductions to the team, so you should be able to track down who it is pretty comfortably. They're very short and quick. There's about 6 of them, so you can actually find out who it is very quickly. So there you go.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So, Rosalin, tell us about the whole trial process, how that worked for you. Like you had the phone call and then you divert the bus straight away and say, oh, do a U-turn. I need to go back to the airport.
Nah, well, so they called me in November and I joined them. We did kind of a trial thing in January. And it was like 1 week of Figaro sailing. And that was it. Then I went to the Caribbean to do some racing there. But before I left to the Caribbean, they offered me the job and the contract. And that was it. And Holly basically said the trial was more a formality, because she said like this was it. She knew it would be a click, and I found it surprising. But I had the same feeling, and that was it. So it's good.
Cool.
That's very
Excellent.
cool. So are you you're going to be doing the ocean race, right? Is that something you're nervous about? I know it's a very important event for the Dutch, but just tell us about that.
If I'm nervous about something?
Well, the ocean race, whether, that whole event, you're heading into your first race. How are you feeling about it?
But basically, you're carrying the whole nation on your shoulders, Rosalin.
Okay, good morning. Monday morning, thank you. No, I feel there's another boat competing, a Dutch boat, so I'm not the only one. But no, I feel very good, and to be honest, I just make it simple. I live day by day. I learn as much as possible. I try to do my job as good as possible, and that's it. And I don't make it more complicated than that. I think it's a big challenge to do all the legs, and I realized that. I realized the IMOCA is so different from any other sailing boat I've ever sailed. And to be honest, I was in my mind, I hope to go around the world in a Volvo 65, and now I go around the world in an IMOCA, and I think it's even cooler. But I realize as well it's a bit harder. The 65 is, in comparison with the IMOCA, is way more comfy. And I realize it's a big challenge. I couldn't imagine that it is quite hard to sail around the world. Like to sail on IMOCA. I've seen we did delivery from Guadeloupe to here. Exactly 1 week ago we landed in Alicante. And I see what it did with my body and with the mind and with everyone. And I think it's going to be a big challenge. So to answer your question, I don't overthink it. I don't feel the pressure of the nation on my shoulders. I just do what I think is good to do, and to do the lap around.
It's probably a point that the whole world wants to know. I mean, all of the people that are sailing on these boats, and I guess the spectators and the people looking at the people sailing these boats want to ask the question. I mean, how is it exactly? You just mentioned, then you touched on your body and your state of mind, and there's a lot more to it than getting on a Volvo 65, as you said. What do you think the biggest thing is? Because when you're sort of in those confined spaces, you're not moving around. You're not as physical as you would be on a normal racing yacht. And so you've also got that to think about, because keeping fit and keeping moving is really important.
Yeah. So I think a couple of things. The first major thing is that the boat is that we sail inside. So the boat is totally closed. And that means that you don't feel spray, you don't feel the wind, and you don't have a good sight on the waves, or you're not really like in the environment. Some of the things that we do, I could have done from my laptop just here, right?
Yes.
And I think that's a big difference. And when you're sailing, you use all your senses, right? You can even maybe helm a boat with your eyes closed, and inside there, not at all. So I think you use different parts of your brain to sail this boat, and that's I think that's one of the major things. You don't have wet weather gear on. We sail in your thermals and
slippers.
We do shoes because there's so much slamming and it's so hard for the spine. So you need something to absorb the shocks. But if that's the only reason, we can sail barefoot, right? Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, one of the biggest things. And yeah, of course, you have the foils, what gives a totally different dimension and way of thinking in combination with the keel, with the sails, with the rudders. It's a different balance. And that's think big difference.
Yeah.
So your racing car career has actually helped in this, for sure.
Yeah, in my time in the Formula One, yes, for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
But clearly, there's going to have to be some crew rotations throughout the race. Has that been spoken about in detail yet?
Yes. So the idea is that Will and myself, we will sail all the legs. Boris will do everything except from 3 legs, and then Jan and Nico, they will do half.
Alternate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone we speak to, it's phenomenal what they say it does, not just from a sailing point of view, but a living point of view.
Exactly.
Like just the constant slamming and trying to sleep and a whole different movement.
So I think, in my opinion, we build a boat, and the boat can push harder than us humans can handle.
Mm.
So for us, it's the question, how far do we go? And because the boat, it can manage, but for us, the noise, the slamming, and you cannot sleep. So you're kind of a doll what is kind of shaked around, and how much can you handle? And even you notice when you're back on shore, like I have a sleeping disorder, so it's always funny when I come back, I'm like talking and walking. But then on this IMOCA, I noticed everyone has a sleeping disorder when we come back. Everyone has like crazy. So I'm very happy that we're on the same level now. But it's so intense for the brain to have all the time the noise and all the time slamming. It's, I don't know, if you're in a theme park in your worst nightmare all the time.
Yeah, wow. So apart from wearing your Hoka One sneakers that give you some absorption in your shoes, what do you wear? What other protective equipment do you wear?
So when you go into the bow, you wear like knee protection and a helmet. But other than that, we don't wear anything. But I think it's a mistake because I think there's 100% chance that someone will have a head injury if we don't protect ourselves more.
So with the setup, obviously the boats are designed normally to sail single-handed or double, as you mentioned. So there's not much accommodation down below, and there's been lots of different ideas of how to manage it. You know, a lot of them have been throwing beanbags down there and different things. How is it set up down below for you guys to go around the world? What have you done?
So I think in comparing with the other IMOCAs, we are the most comfortable one. We can stand up in the cockpit and stand up in the back living area. And we have 3 bunks. So one in the back, one in the middle, and one in the front. And the one in the front is next to our cockpit. So you have the cockpit, and then you have like a wall. And then you have that bunk, we call it the dark room. And that's where I sleep.
Okay.
To the dark room, Rosalin.
To the dark room. You're dismissed. Yeah. But it's yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's like it's super for us. It's comfy to live with 5 people. In comparing with other IMOCAs, I think we go like princesses around the world. So I think we're very lucky with that. Yeah.
Living like royalty.
When you all arrived, all the boats from Guadeloupe, did you have like an IMOCA union meeting and just say, this is ridiculous? How on earth are we going to sail these things around the world?
Yeah, sometimes you speak with people and then with other sailors, and you know you're both a bit like, what are we doing? But in the same time, there's so much innovation in this type of boats, and it develops so quickly. I think we all learned so much. But yes, sometimes you're like, what? How is this going forward? You know, and how will we look in a couple of months in Brazil, for example?
Have you had much interaction with other teams?
For the ocean race teams, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen each other like in the Devi Azimuth, and but some of the teams are so recently announced, and we haven't seen each other on so many events. So I think in the beginning of January we will catch up a bit more, and it's a bit like a different vibe. It's a more like the French vibe, right? So I'm as well looking like, okay, how is all this going, and what do they find normal?
So I would say in a completely Anglo way of doing things, if you just park yourself at the Tribeca bar, fair chance you're going to run into every single competitor.
Oh, the Tribeca bar.
No, we're not going there, BP. We'll talk about this on another show. We'll talk about that on the off-spin show of Baccarat.
I'll give my left arm to go back there for a quiet session.
But who's currently in Alicante? Everyone's meant to be there now for the assembly period?
No, we're meant to be here the 1st of January. So 11th hour is in Valencia and Guyot is in Barcelona. So everyone is a bit everywhere.
So everyone's kind of holding their cards close to their chest, so to speak.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means we have to, now we're talking about the other teams, we have to ask the question. The question is, who are the main threats? Who's going to win?
We've lost one Jordan Spencer. We've lost him.
He looks funny when he talks, huh?
Doesn't he? I think he was making
I'll just note that time down. Tech problems at 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
test, Jordan. Test.
You got me?
Jordan Spencer, what have you done to yourself?
Still good company, only to watch him.
Yeah, no, it's quite funny.
He feels a bit awkward, I think. And now he starts laughing.
Are you, all right, are you there, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm here. You got me? No?
Oh, yeah, got you now.
Yeah, he's back.
Got him.
Beauty. Sorry about that. I apologise. I was trying to ask the teams. We're talking about the other teams. So from a competitive standpoint, where do you think the main threats are? You know, we can talk about design. We can talk about teams. Who's going to be fast where? Who's going to win this whole show? What's going to make the difference, do you reckon?
It's a difficult question. Of course, 11th hour, they have their boat the longest and they train the most. So I think they're very, very good competition. Most of the other boats are new, same as us. But it's hard to say. It's all different designs. Some boats are heavier, some boats are lighter. But I think as well, to do a lap around the world, I think the IMOCA, what is not breaking, will win. These boats are so fragile in comparing to, for example, a 65. Mm-hmm. All the time things are breaking. For example, Holcim broke the stringers in the Rotterdam. We had a lot of damage. So every time you sail with these boats, something minor or major is breaking. And yeah, I think the IMOCA who sail around the world without breaking apart will win.
Does that hold any concern for you? Like, we're talking about being out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, I think yes, for sure. That's a concern. If I see, we have sailed plenty with the boat. Sorry, but yeah, many things break. Like for example, we did the delivery back from Guadeloupe and we break the fractional. If we would have sailed 2 days more, we would have broken the strop of the J2, and that means the mast would come off, and we broke both of our foils. And I think for all these boats, it's just not like a tiny repair. No, that's why these teams are massive. We're all the time, repairing stuff. And if I see this and these conditions, and then I think, okay, we need to sail this boat 36 to 40 days in the Southern Ocean, that is concerning me. I know the 65, they went around the world twice with no problems, right? It's almost unbreakable, and this is not. And I think if you drive Formula One, you have a car and you test it 1,000 times, and even then you're not sure if you can do a lap around the course. But in our case, we don't have more time than this, so we will see all these things, and it will happen. And the question is, okay, where will it happen, and can we manage or not? And if you're in the middle of the Southern Ocean, oh man, it's so that is concerning me, to be honest. I found that interesting. Yeah.
Who on board, if we go to both ends of the spectrum, who is Captain Sensible and who is Mr. or Mrs. Loose Unit, just wanting to send it all the time? And who's the one that says, no, slow down, let's put another reef in, let's, furl up or whatever it might be? Or you're all pretty much aligned with how the boat should be sailed?
Yes, I think we are pretty much aligned. Everyone wants to push the boat, and I think we did push the boat, but on the same time we know if we push it too hard, the race is over. So everyone is pretty much aligned, and we have a lot of alarms, of course, for like navigation, say for AIS, and we have the Oscar. It's a kind of a camera. It looks like this in the mast, and it detects like everything what's in 1 mile around the boat, from containers to ships to even birds. So we have all these alarms, but as well fiber optics. So we see exactly the bend on the foils, on the hull, in the mast. We have like 360 fiber optics points. So we are very aware of the boat. And we basically push the boat until we know the rig or the hull is getting fatigued, like tired.
Geez, that's crazy.
Jeez, yeah. Apart from the slamming and then just the beeping, like with the alarms going off, and then a bloody bird flies past, Oscar starts going off his nut. It's just it's ridiculous.
It's funny. You should
come to our world.
You should come one day on the boat, and you will laugh your ass off. I think you will like, what is this? And then it's not only the alarms, it's like the noise of the keel. It's so high, like your baby is screaming all the time. And then you have like the sucking noises from the cockpit drains, like, and it's I don't know. We make jokes, if you come on watch or you need to wake up, you just go to someone's ear and you're like beep 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 beep, or like wake up.
So the boys will laugh at this. It's basically like driving my Land Rover down the road 100 k's an hour with a screaming child in the back. The tyres are making so much noise, and then you open the door and the door alarm goes off. Beep, 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 beep.
Well,
except you don't have a door alarm
comes again. Jesus.
Except you don't have a door alarm on you. It's you doing it manually.
Oh, yeah, I don't have a door alarm. No way.
Beep, 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 beep.
All that stuff would happen if the damn thing moved. But, anyway. I'm really interested. I'm really interested in all that. Like, first off, just one comment. Has anyone, what was it on Sesame Street? Oscar was the Grouch or something, was it? Oscar the Grouch?
Oscar the Grouch, yep.
Yeah. So, next time
Didn't
Oscar
we
beats...
give him the name during our last...
Anyway, so Oscar the Grouch...
Yeah, I thought I'm going to have to re-listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Given that these aren't one designs now, these boats, there must have been a lot of development around sails, and you can't change the mast, obviously, but your electronics packages, your navigation, your autopilot, that there's a lot of development in all that sort of stuff. So what have you been privy to? What's something exciting? You tell us what you can and don't tell us what you can't, all right? I don't want you to get in trouble. But what's interesting?
You mean in terms of like or electronic setup, or like
any new developments that you've come up
with?
You mean that? So it can be your electronics, it can be your autopilot, it can be sail development, it can be your foils, but only what you're allowed to tell us.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting, because I woke up this morning and I knew I had a chat with you guys, and I was like, oh, can I tell this? No. Oh, can I tell this? No. Anyway, there's something exciting happening with our foils, but I cannot share what. In terms of sails, we do recut the sails. For example, for the Southern Ocean, because we broke this sail too, but there's a new sail coming and we cut it a bit smaller. And I think this is different than all the other boats. Mm-hmm. And the autopilot, it's super interesting. Actually, Axel, the woman you mentioned, she is the electronics expert on board, and she designed our automatic pilot system and all the overlays.
Oh. Wow!
So normally, if you're Chris Nicholson, right, you're standing with the helm and you serve the boat on the waves, and you just know and feel and understand how much heel you need and how the sail needs to be trimmed and what you need to have a perfect balance, right? And for us, we sail 99% with the autopilot. We only use the stick, like the helm, for docking in and out. And what we do as the sailors is putting our knowledge, feeding the autopilot with our knowledge. And the autopilot has like 3 overlays where we're playing with, and that is, of course, the direction or the heading or the true wind angle. And then you have like a speed overlay. So you say, I want to go, the target is to go 24 knots. Then you have the heel overlay, and you can have like a polar overlay or a apparent wind angle overlay. And most of the time we sail with 2 variables, but you can do with 3. And then you decide the borders that you say, okay, between 25 knots and 19 knots, for example, in that band, the autopilot is not doing anything, and the same for the heel. And it sounds maybe a bit funky, but it's we adjust this all the time, and then the autopilot is steering, and every 5 minutes the autopilot learns. So that's why normally you steer and you feel it and you adjust it straight away. But for us, we reprogram the autopilot, and then we need to sit back, hold back, because then she learns. And if in 20
she learns.
She learns. That's what I always.
She learns.
She learns.
Do you have a name for it?
What's her name?
You've got Oscar on board.
we don't have a good name yet. No, but I imagine our autopilot. Okay. I imagine our boat is like a girl of 16 years old and what's a little bit of a rebel, and she's a little bit too fat.
The boat we're talking about here. This is the boat. Now let's go to the autopilot. She's a bit more intricate. She's a bit more finessed. She's obviously a quick learner.
Yeah, she's a quick learner, but you really have to say to other sailors as well, okay, don't adjust anything now, because if you adjust it, then you fuck up the process a bit. So it's such a different way of sailing. And after 20 minutes, if it's still not okay, then you adjust again and again. And that's why we need so much time to understand this boat. And you can not be all the time on the pumps or whatever. So it's different form of sailing.
I just imagine, like today, Jordan, I tried ringing you, and I'm like, "Hey Siri, ring Jordan Spencer." There's no. Here Siri started. There's no Jordan Spencer in your phone. And I'm like, "Siri, ring Jordan Spencer," and Siri almost got a clip. I tell you. So when the autopilot's not listening to you properly, that's why you need a name for the autopilot. Yeah. I told you not to do that.
Righto, here we go. Barkaradians, it's out there. Our listeners out there, we want a name for the autopilot.
So, what do you have any suggestions?
John,
I can bring it up today. John,
no, Frank,
Bill? Franklin. It should be a little bit stupid as well.
Too boring,
Brett.
BP. With those.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah. No, we'll come up with a name. We'll come up with a name. We'll send it to you. Yeah,
actually,
okay.
That's a good idea.
I'll put it out there. The listeners are going to do it as well. Go, Joe.
Why just call it Nico?
Mm-hmm.
For Chris Nicholson.
Well, you've got a Nico on board though.
Yeah, we have a Nico on board. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Nico, you're out on this one. No, this is good.
Yeah.
I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and
think about it.
Yeah. Oh,
The funny
Yeah,
thing.
we make a little nameplate.
Little plaque. We'll make a little plaque, stick it to the side, and it's got metal in it, so it just goes fully loopy. The metal reacts with the compass on board. Oh well, Francis has been on the gear again.
Francis.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, but take it or leave it.
Someone gain control of this podcast, Jordan. Come on.
You're welcome.
We can call it a robot.
Yeah. Let's just call it
robot.
Let's call it
Robot.
Robot.
Roboto.
Roboto. It's a mix between Australian and French.
Yeah.
Roboto. Now we're talking.
Roboto.
We could go on and on.
I'd just call it
Jordan.
Your words. Aussie Mike is what I'd call it. Something like that. Aussie something. Aussie Mike. Because then it's fast.
We'll think about it.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
I love it.
All right, so walk us through the legs, Rosalin. In the there's a little plain words there. 15th of January, things kick off.
Yes,
you're on the. Jordan's lost it.
Jordan's on a delay. Jordan's on a delay.
He's in the desert, man.
Yeah. So we'll talk about between the legs, as in the stopovers later. All right. We're talking about the legs themselves.
Yeah.
To the best of, obviously, 15th of January, things kicking off. Alicante to Cape Verde.
Yeah, correct. And then we
carry on
from Cape Verde. We sail to Cape Town. Cape Town to Brazil, Itajai. And then Brazil to Newport. Newport to Aarhus, Denmark. Then Denmark to The Hague. And then The Hague, Genoa. And then and then we go to Monaco. Then we're gonna put the T-rudders.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're gonna go to Monaco.
Full fly. Yeah.
And actually have some control over the boat.
Love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
All right. So there's one leg there that kind of, raises, as you spoke about, the 35, 40 days in the Southern Ocean. Cape Town to Itajai.
Yeah, it's a long one. I would have loved to stop in Australia and we could drink a beer and just,
Exactly.
But yeah.
Maybe the next one. We'll start lobbying soon. We should maybe get one of the owners of the Ocean Race on the show and we'll start our campaign.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You'd have to have
it as part of the Dockside Festival.
You'd have to have some real swing to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder who would have that sort of power.
Leave it with us. Leave it with us.
I love it. I love saying something funny and waiting for Jordan to laugh. Wait. Here he goes.
Right. Okay. So, 40 days. What's the modelling? What are you saying? Between 35, 40 days?
We say 36 days now. That's what we expect, and but we will pack food for like 40 days or something. You never know.
That's a long leg, isn't it? That is a long. That's pretty well around. That's actually pretty well around the world.
And is it ice skates?
Correct.
I'm guessing there's a bunch of ice skates will be set.
Yes, there's like a restriction zone where we cannot go. Yeah.
Wow.
I've got an important question.
If you need a hand, if you're south of Australia, just give us a holler. We won't be that far away.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure. Yeah. Hopefully it's not needed, but in any case,
Right,
and what's the so okay? You've made it back across the ditch. you're heading down, and then you've got to finish everything up in the Mediterranean.
Yes.
What's the vibe there? So you're literally going from, massive leg of 40 days and then a few other bigger legs, and then it all comes down to a bit of a sprint with potentially podium positions won or lost in the Med, which could be a honking Mistral or absolutely zero wind.
Yes, that will be super interesting. We think that our boat is more made, like we have a lot of composite. When we came out of the shed, we had 1/3 more composite than all the other IMOCAs, so we are heavier. And our boat, we think it's more made for like the Southern Ocean and like heavy weather, a lot of wind conditions. And yes, the Mediterranean, it will be very interesting. It's a totally different game. And what you see in the Ocean Race Europe as well, the IMOCAs, we were not so fast. The IMOCAs were beaten by the 65s. So it's a totally different race. And hard to say if the decision will be there, if we're on the podium or not. It can happen. We will see. I'm like, I just think in my mind until Newport, and then we will see. If we can get to Newport, I think we can manage to to finish the rest of the legs. But it's a totally different strategy as well, different type of sailing. Yeah. So same with that the 65s are joining the first leg and the last two. It's a totally different race. We will not push our boat so much as they will do to Cape Verde. We will be a bit more conservative and make sure the boat is good to do the 40-day leg.
Yeah, well, they'll be full of energy at the back end of the regatta. They'll be you guys have done a lap of the planet, and they'll be all like, let's go.
Yeah, we just turned. We are all mental because of the noise and the slamming.
They come up to see you on the dock. Hey, Rosalin, how's things? Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you very much for asking.
That was great. Good one. Actually, could you do me a favor and actually just record your initial contact with someone when you get off the boat at every stopover? So at every stopover, what I want you to do is to film, put a camera behind you, and your first initial reaction when you see someone. That would be hilarious.
Okay, I will.
And then you get to Cape Town and there's all the bands there playing the drums, and you're like, no, stop it! I've been in a drum for the last 2 weeks. Stop. Or actually to fall asleep, you say, oh, can I have a snooze in your drum?
It's bedtime. Can you do a drum solo, please?
Not one of those shitty snare drums. I want a big bass drum, please.
No, I want a full 15-minuter. Double bass, the whole lot. Righto. Very good. So yacht racing. Yacht racing.
I want to ask a question.
Read the rum.
No,
go on, Jay. Your turn. Go.
Okay. Have you crossed the equator? You've already gone across the equator, haven't you?
No.
Oh.
No.
Hello.
No.
Cape Town.
First timer. First timer and first time Cape Horn too.
Right.
Cape Horn, we're not so worried about.
That's where I let my hair grow a bit.
Yeah, the equator's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're worried.
Has there been any banter about what's going to happen when you do cross the equator?
Yeah, something will happen. Something will happen. Yeah.
I mean, traditionally it's all flying fish and stuff, but these bloody boats that sailing at such an angle, you almost need a bull bar because you're going to be hitting all the flying fish. None will land on deck anymore.
It's actually a real thing at the flying fish because they come on deck and then they fall into the cockpit and then they're like in the cockpit, and then they disappear in rollbacks or whatever, and it's so bad. It smells like so bad, and you get really seasick from it.
Oh, get used to it.
Yeah.
So just watch out that the crossing the equator isn't eating one of those things that's been on deck for the last 4 weeks.
No, our team is really vegan based, so no fish, no meat for us.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your faces. Especially Brett. Whoa.
What crazy talk are you talking about? But if a flying fish happens to land on deck and sacrifices itself just prior to crossing the equator, like it's obviously clearly a sign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Veganism can be given up for 1 degree.
Well,
exactly.
We do.
I'll send you a picture if it happens.
Yeah.
We'll be watching. Yeah.
We do need to discuss it because one of the Team Maliza is not just about going around the ocean race. It's about, there's a social message. It's trying to achieve a few things, and that veganism would be part of the program, I assume.
Yeah. Well, not everyone is vegan, but I think we're aware of the sustainability side and the fact that it's not good to eat a lot of fish and meat. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, we do eat meat on board. Don't understand me wrong. We cannot only live on carrots and ratatouille.
Well, some people say they can.
Yeah. But so actually, while we're on that though, do you want to tell us a bit more about what the team is trying to achieve? Using the ocean race as the platform to tell the story.
What your message is,
So our message is very clear. It's climate action and climate action now, and we have different partners, and. In the end, we try to work on the sustainability goals. It's, I think, number 24 and number 17. And we try to inspire, on my side, on the sailing side, what we do is we try to inspire children and make them aware of the ocean. And I think you all know we have the ocean pack on board. So we collect all the ocean data and the CO2, and the saliness of the ocean, and we send all this data to how do you call it, institutes?
To one of your super duper universities.
Exactly, and they try to map the health of the ocean. And on our side, we try to create awareness for people that the ocean health is going down and what we can do about it. And we have a kids education program. So in every stop where we come, we try to activate, I think it's 10,000 children, and we activate in schools, and they come on the boat, and we try to inspire them to add something good and to be a bit smarter than their parents and maybe their grandparents. And we have different initiatives. We plant the mangroves, and of course sailing around in a carbon boat is not really sustainable, right? And we fly as well, but we try to compensate our footprint and spread the message. And
I think that's the big point, the compensating your footprint at the moment. Last 50 years, there's been none of that. I think that's being more and more aware right now. It's compensating your footprint.
Yeah.
And teaching the kids is a big thing too. So.
Yeah, just being a bit smarter. But in saying that, yes, a carbon boat to actually produce the boat, that's one thing, and that has a massive footprint. But it's a boat that is, for example, the 65s and most IMOCAs compete in multiple round the world races.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said there, and using the platform to tell your story and get your message across, of which you guys are pushing as hard as anyone, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and I think as well, we don't hide. So we are very transparent in the footprint we have ourselves, and we don't hide it, because it's, if you just sit in your home and you don't go out sailing, it's maybe better for the world, right? but we try to inspire our partners as well and other companies to become better every year. So yeah, I think it's a good thing what we do, it's a bigger message.
All right, enough of the serious stuff. I've seen quite a few photos, especially when the boat was launched, and it looks like a fun team, a really so fun team. Yeah. And looks as though you guys have a really good time. You've got a great bond with each other. Do you just put that stuff on for the photos, or it's actually true?
What, me?
No, everyone. Do you just kind of pose for the photos, looking as though you're having fun, or you actually really are having the time of your life?
To be honest, it's really a lot of fun, and sometimes we really say, okay, we should not show too much, that we have too much fun to be serious as well. No, it's such a good team. We have 11 nationalities, and the average age in our team is 32 or 31. So it's a very young team. I think people have serious roles, but we are young, and it's like a family. And think everyone is very internally driven to do this and do the best they can, and this is our job. We have a mission, but one of our main goals is to have fun, and I think that's fantastic. And I've seen it different in some other teams, right? So it's very cool. Yeah.
This puts it into perspective, gents. I was in contact with someone who's very close within your team, and it's like they don't even use emails. Everything's on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
The whole conversation, every single thing is over WhatsApp. Don't even use email anymore. And then I'm like,
we have it as a formality.
Old school. Nah,
what are you young cats doing out there?
Yeah, but it's quicker.
Got a TikTok account as well.
Yeah, we started a TikTok account, to be honest. I think last week.
We've only just got Facebook sorted out, so we're a long way behind that.
Yeah. No, but it's good. I think it works well, and of course some like of the younger persons, they are very quick with WhatsApp and everything, and then you see a bit more, like, say, experienced people joining, and they find it difficult with the overflow of information. But I think it's a nice balance.
It's a limit to how fast you can type with your thumbs.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's on my laptop, by the way.
There's an obvious question here. Have you worked out your TikTok dance for on the boat in the middle of the race while you're slamming? I'm really interested to what sort of dance you've got.
And add to that the pout.
What is a pout?
Well,
what?
We can end with that. That's a very good idea. No, we're thinking about this because we have like 2 big poles in the cockpit, and we were and a good friend of the team, she's a pole dance teacher, so we were thinking about having the guys around the poles and then do like a TikTok video. So it will come.
Stop there.
Make it viral. Make it viral. I like it.
It would go. And
we might go TikTok soon, I reckon.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I think we would. We should.
Well, with a couple of poles in our room, do a bit of pole dancing.
No, with the intro song, with the guitar.
Yeah. I'll send you the WhatsApp. I'll send you the WhatsApp link to it. You can have the WhatsApp link to it.
That was a good idea.
Hey, Ros, I think
good.
I think that given this conversation, Team Maliza is going to have a lot of fans joining for the race because it sounds like a fun boat and a good team, and I think you've sold us all on just how cool it'll be to watch you guys go around the world, and we cannot wait for the pole dancing TikTok thing. We're into it. Just teach us how to log on, and we'll be there. But super cool having you join us. We know you got a meeting to get to. I can see it. So yeah, ton of fun always, and I
need to pack the food.
Yeah. Well,
beef jerky. Carrot jerky.
Carrot jerky. So the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Best of luck.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me in the Bar Karate podcast again. And very cool guys, and very new with the video and everything.
Yeah,
and
we'll get there. We'll get there. And
so, Rosalin,
have fun. That's the key to it.
Yeah, well, but you're definitely doing that, which is fantastic. You've got 3 or 4 weeks to go here, but we'd look forward to maybe chatting at each stopover. And we can, just get a little bit of an update how things are going.
Could you do that? Could you do that chat just as you get off the boat, like just literally as you get off? Call us up, and we'll see how you actually how you're going.
No, for sure we can do that, and I think let's stay in touch. And what is nice as well, we have a YouTube series, and then you see. I think you have a really good insight in what's happening in the team and what's happening on the boat. And we're gonna make something fun, that we have like a camera set up and a little bit private, but like with a good headset. You can just talk normally because it's so loud anyway. But then the idea is that we as sailors talk a bit more to the camera about our feelings and everything. Because the fun thing is on a sailing boat, and you guys know it, you have experienced it, you don't talk about feelings at all, right? You're just a kind of a robot. You're a machine.
Yeah. The odd grunt now and then. That's about it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And you don't say if you feel whatever. So we try to do this a bit different. And we try to do that in the YouTube series. So I think it's nice to follow that. And would be nice to have a chat.
So where's that Team Maliza YouTube channel?
How do we contact?
I think it's Boris Herman. Okay.
We'll find it. We'll post the link so everyone can check it out.
Yeah,
cool.
We'll chase it up for sure. Good on you, Rosalin. Have a great time.
Thank you very much, guys, and have a good evening. And we chat soon.
And that's thumbs up from Jordan with his delay.
Ciao, Jordan. Super good input. Thanks.
Wait. There he is.
Okay. Ciao.
Love talking to that young lady, but more importantly, love talking.
I've still got sore cheeks from the first time we spoke. Not to mention this time. So
yeah, she's just got a great attitude. Like she's just and love seeing her have the success, but also super fired up to seeing how this whole race unfolds. I'm into the Omoka boats, in the crewed Omoka boats, and the footage we're going to get off, because that's one of the things we miss on the Vendée. We don't get great footage on these boats, whereas we're going to get it with the ocean race because of the way they do it. Very good idea. I think you had there, Bicey, with after each leg doing an update.
We do a bit of a
segment.
I've been working on a bit. I've been working, a segment that can happen.
I think I know where you're going to go.
6 weeks.
Yeah. We should. So we'll have a segment. Have you thought about what we could call it?
I've been working on a few titles.
Yeah.
One of them, and maybe we can put this to a vote. Stopover with Rosalin.
Right.
That could be one. Or the other one could be Between the Legs with Rosalin.
What if it's not just Ros? Like, because we got.
Yeah, we could go to anyone.
That's right.
We could go to Boris.
We
could even get the big cheese on himself, like maybe Richard Breezius or Johan Celine. We can go Between the Legs with the race director Phil Lawrence.
There you go.
Absolutely. Now there's a good thought.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not just
Between the Legs with Neil Cox.
Between the Legs with Coxie. Between the Legs with Coxie.
It'd be a good episode.
Be full of action.
Might have to go on site for that one.
All right. Moving on. But basically,
move on.
We're not done with the ocean race, so we're gonna keep diving into it. But it gets underway very, very shortly, mid January, and we're fired up. Can't wait. Other news, boys? Shall we move on to that?
What? Oh, there's one. Alexander Higgins giving us a little wave. on the way through. The old one finger salute.
Yes.
You might be
very
getting
good.
that today. Anyway,
All right.
other news.
Other news. First one I want to mention is, when we looked at events, club events and stuff coming up, our vision was to try and help small clubs. And we got a note from Andrew Stanley, and obviously fan of the event. Lots of banter about the Sunfish Union and the Hobart and all sorts of stuff, but they're ripped into the music for our Spotify list that we've published.
Rightly so.
Rightly so, I think. But then,
which is getting massive amount of support, might add.
Is it? I hope. Anyway, he wrote in. He's from the Tumby Bay Yacht Club. Big fan of the podcast. Sailed a rainbow in Port Lincoln a long time ago with a bloke called Rusty. Vicey?
Yes, absolutely. So Rusty was a bit of a stalwart in the Rainbows. Know him well. Have seen him around the traps lately, actually. When I get back to Lincoln, he's always down the club. Actually saw him this year at the Port Lincoln opening day. And to Andrew, yeah, I've actually spent many a regatta at Tumby Bay Yacht Club.
Yeah.
So I do concur with him. It is a beautiful place to sail.
Okay, so 50k further north of Lincoln. Small club, struggling to maintain senior sailing. The women, the big part of their profile. The interclub sailing has almost died in our region, and the Queen of the Gulf Regatta that used to bring large fleets together has gone into recess, which is not good. What they've done, though, is they've sent us a link. They're trying a new format of racing, which where they've got some interclub racing. So if you ever feel like going for a bit of a yacht in Tumby Bay, yardstick racing, they've for each leg completed. They've got sort of prizes and all sorts of stuff going. So they've got some cash prizes and nutrition stuff. If you want to have a look, just jump onto Sail Tumby Points Race. Go onto their website. We can publish the link. And, there's a good event coming up. So the crew at Tumby Yacht Club are giving it a red-hot go, which I think is good. I just wanted to make sure that we gave them a plug. I don't know what else I need to say there, but
I think the key point there is they have tried to reinvent something to get more people on the water instead of just sticking to the norm. So, and this could be good from the sounds of it. So check it out and suss it out.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Andrew wouldn't mind a call either from other clubs that wish to kind of do a similar sort of thing with success.
Yep. Very, very cool.
Club events.
Club event. The other one was we got a note from Jacob Birch. Now, he's from the East Fremantle Yacht Club. So East Freo, they are big supporters of Bark Radio, I'll be honest. We hear about from these guys a lot. And they've got what they call, what are they calling their event? I'll have to go to my notes.
Rumble on the beach.
Rumble on the Reach, because it's on the reach of the Swan River. Yeah. Rumble on the Reach. Thanks. Sorry, I was reading ahead, so I lost my little note there. So if you're sailing a sports boat, dinghy, open skiff class, come and enter the Rumble on the Reach 2023, sailed in close confines of East Fremantle Yacht Club. Great event, and spectators alike, because it's close confines. Thousands of dollars worth of prizes to win, and come and test your grit against others with live commentary by Sport FM. This is what I think makes sailing events, bit of live commentary. So East Freo Yacht Club, if you're in the West.
Now, I'm going to speculate Sport FM, this may be, there's a sailing show on a Friday afternoon hosted by one Ed Feathers, father of Anderson. I wonder if this is him involved, standing by to confirm or deny that particular fact or lie.
But But anyway, it's a good one that you should all jump involved and get involved in, which is pretty cool. The other one, that's Listener of the Week. Yeah, that was it. So a couple of different events. Sorry guys, I'm not with it this morning. I'm not my usual self, but that's pretty much the club events coming up. So Tumby Bay and the Rumble on the Reach for East Freo. Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week. Can we roll on to that?
We shall.
Might as well.
Okay. So the interesting thing there is we've got a few people come up. One, of course, is one of our very regular posters, is Sean Wagner, who's one of the Americans, and he's the guy from Plankona Brewery Group. Remember, we got some beers sent across. BP, Bossy and I may have already drunk those.
Yeah. Well, I was at Bice's the other day and I didn't see any side of him, so there's no good. To be honest, I didn't remember. So it's all good.
Yeah. So Sean, at great expense, I think, sent them over to us, and Sandy actually played your role, BP. Sandy Higgins. So if you do where you're sleeping this next week, when I was in South Australia,
I did get asked if I was his brother the other day. I couldn't believe it. I'm going, what the hell?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it's not an insult.
Part of the clan.
Yeah. It's not an insult. Anyway,
Brett
so
Higgins.
Sean, one of the things Sean wrote to us, which I thought was quite interesting, and he's looking at getting involved in sailing from a whole different way now. So, he loves the fact that we talk about pathways into sailing, and he has identified a completely new pathway into sailing. And that is, he's predominantly been a cruiser and weekend sailor and enjoyed watching the sport and the races. But as a small business owner, which is his brewery group, Plankona Brewery, and we've got no problems giving him a free plug, he started sponsoring sailing events, and including the Charleston Race Week, which is the second largest regatta in the US. And
Massive.
Yeah. And it's opened the doors of introductions to lots of sailors, and now he's getting rides on lots of cool boats because of his sponsorship. So sponsorship, he's arguing, is one of the pathways to being a successful sailor.
I can see Bicey's mind working straight away. Baccarati.
Does anyone ever remember a song? Does your dad own a brewery?
Yeah.
Do you own a brewery? Actually, I can see Sean walking down the dock with an A-frame on. Plankona Brewery. You want to come with us?
Yeah. The only problem.
I'm just going to get it. I'm just going to a T-shirt with my dad does own a brewery.
Yeah. The only problem with that question you just asked, Bossy, is I immediately thought of the next line of that song, and I'm not.
Yeah, that's why. That's the meaning of my T-shirt. My dad does own a brewery, and I do.
We'll hold on that.
Yeah, I don't think we can say the rest of it out loud. Anyway, all right. So yeah, thanks, mate, Sean. He messaged me about 5,000 times during the week, so he's very fired up at the moment. So that's good.
Excellent. Good enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Wags.
The other one that I really enjoyed was Lawson Shaw. We've got a mate. Now, Lawson's he sends us the occasional message. He sent a photo of, I guess the best way to describe it is a gun runner 16.5 being consumed.
Oh my God.
Yes. Really? Now, this is not the only message and photos I got about this during the week, but so day one of the J24 Nationals tomorrow were called already because of the weather, windy, and he's just rolled straight into the gun runner 16.5s.
Unbelievable.
Lacked a little bit of ice for my liking, but very, very happy to see that they'd taken off. So, and I'll be honest, I've got a lot of messages about that during the week. There's people from all around the world have messaged me. They're trying it.
I can take this one step further.
Right.
I'm actually staying at the lovely house of Sandy and Karen here while I'm doing the Nationals, and we had a little bit of a family function, if you like, with the sons and daughters of them coming over, and one of the sons is actually in the army.
Oh yeah, Karen's. Yes.
Yep. And we did, and I brought it up with him. So I'm hoping he goes back to the source of it all and starts spreading it through the course.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
There you go.
Well, I'll take it another step further.
Oh, another step.
I was down the club on a Thursday night, and maybe BP once we're allowed to have at least half a teaspoon of sugar again.
Yes.
I was approached by several members, including one Snow Belton, saying, why isn't the gun runner 16.5 on the cocktail list? So I've got a bit of a mission this week to get a few samples out, speak to Ollie, the bar manager, and get it on the cocktail list of the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia.
I love it.
There's no,
I
no
cannot
hidden agendas there, right?
Maybe we should have a couple on Tuesday night, Barcy.
Tuesday night. Yes.
Cool.
Correct.
Cool. All right. The other
moving forward.
Quick mention while we're still talking Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week. And obviously Jack Lloyd becomes quite pertinent with the ocean race coming up in a week or two.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Chris Howe just sent a note through just pointing out that Sean Langman did the Flying 15 Nationals just the week before the Hobart. So not only was he getting multiple boats ready, he was doing the Flying 15 Nationals, which...
not to mention the 18s prior to that in New Zealand.
Yes. He's having a good time, our Sean Langman.
That's there's a bloke that really maximises sailing time. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. Everyone's a listener of the week in that one. You may or may not be getting a merch pack. Yep, that's the answer. But some good. It's been a busy week. Like there's a lot of people wrote in and love getting the messages. We can't mention them all, but you can tell no one was work this week. Is all I'll say.
Ole, 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 ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
It's hot time with Bice.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Mate, we're going to have to change the name.
Why?
It's going to have to be something to do with predictions.
Ah.
Bice or something.
Predictions. The future.
The future.
How good was
Nostradamus.
this,
Nostradamus with Bice. Nostradamus with Bice.
One, we... can confirm that the container gate has worked. So basically we knew which AC team was going to be announced prior to it being announced, given the movement of containers, which now of course means I've just got to buy more containers to sell more containers to get the inside scoop on every
on future yachting movements
going forward.
Yeah, so for those
a bit of a spiral.
who missed it on Jess Tuke's episode about a month ago, we told you there was going to be, Bicey told you there was going to be a new America's Cup team that hasn't been announced yet. We knew everything. We knew all of it because of the fact that they came to Bice to buy some of his leftover containers from the ocean race. So that's the deal. So if you missed that episode, go back a month. Everyone's jumping on after the press release from Team France. We did the right thing because we're mates with a lot of the guys in that team. Didn't reveal anything. But we gave the subtle hint, and it is true that, no other sailing publication in the world was willing to buy containers and have them ready to do the hard yards to find out the inside information. There's no other organisation that's doing as much as us.
Massive technique, and one that I think is going to prove moving forward how much we're into this.
But the other important thing is how cool is it now? The French team have announced. So we're probably
well done.
I think we should just reach out to Bruno that we did the right thing by the board.
Get him back on and. Yeah,
actually, would be a good chat. Would be a really good chat to see
given their performance
how this is all going
in Sail GP this year as well.
Last
year, rather, that matter.
Yeah. Actually, Quentin, I've got to get him on the show. All right.
Next. Last week,
hot time.
Last week there was a slight light mention, and we're going to leave it in the public forum a little bit of a slight bit of controversy with the. We didn't mention it at the time, but it's come out during the week that Celestial has retired from the ORC fleet of the ORCI of the fleet within the Hobart for flying 4 sails in front of the rig, which you're not allowed to do. So they've relinquished their first overall, which now goes to Gualo. We're going to leave that conversation right there. There's plenty of stuff going on between Celestial guys. There's something in the Sydney Morning Herald. There's a lot of stuff everywhere, but we're just going to sit on that for now.
So we'll
and
just
not-
the Celestial team retired from ORC as well.
correct.
Once they knew that they'd breached the rule, let's just call it that.
Yeah.
And so that's where it stands currently.
Correct.
And I still say that there's a whole bunch of TP52 controversy going on.
Right, moving on. Next piece. Well, this is hardly controversy, but it's got to do with the Sydney Hobart.
Right.
Is
yes.
Huntress,
Oh,
which
yes.
lost its rudder on whatever night it was, surfing down a wave, broached, snapped the rudder off, and then basically needed to be rescued. Huntress has now been washed up on quite a remote beach.
Yeah, Cape Barren Island. Yeah.
So that is a pity to see.
It's devastating because it's going to be hard to get off that one. I don't mind that boat
and
either.
There's not much resources at all, which will be available there. So it's a massive, massive job to try and get something back or retrieve it, or before it breaks up, for that matter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just looking at it now, it's on there, isn't it? Rigs come down.
Good, just as a discussion point, guys, because I was sort of running through my head how I'd manage this if it had happened to me on my boat. You lost your rudder, right? What's the technique? And can you practice it? Okay, so if you're going to go out to sea and you go, okay, in my mind, you've got no rudder, right? So you throw some stuff off the back to create drag at the back to keep your bum facing behind, and you sail downwind with a headsail up, so that keeps your nose down. So you can at least go dead downwind until you get closer to land. Is there anything, can you guys think of anything else? You should have
having spent quite a bit of my sailing career on boats like the Volvo boats, we actually had spare rudders.
Spare rudder.
That's specifically built that either slotted into the existing bearings, or there were gudgeons on the back.
That's correct.
Of the boat.
Yeah.
A lot of offshore boats now have twin rudders, so that kind of eliminates a bit of that. But that whole drogue or whatever setup out the back, that only puts you in one direction.
Yep.
Of course. But I mean, without knowing the circumstances of Huntress, there may have been a scenario that the boat was sinking as well. So that's why they had to get off, and a whole bunch of different things. But you're right, there should be, and I read an article on it not that long ago, actually, prior to all of this. I'll try and dig it out, but it was very interesting on a replacement steering.
Well, given the amount of rudders that were damaged during the Hobart, right, it was the main point of damage for boats. Let us say that one would think that it's time to start thinking about this stuff and practicing. I know when you design the X2 BP, you design kick-up rudders. You put them on the stern for the reason so you could access them. You had double rudders. So you'd thought about this yourself. A lot of boats, as you say,
absolutely.
Bicey, double rudders. Go on, BP, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing from my point of view was, the size of the boat coming into play. 30 feet long, you're limited crew. If you're out there and you do break a rudder, it is a major. And obviously, having them stern hung and having twin rudders are obviously susceptible to damage because they're out of the alignment of the keel. But the ability for them to kick up in an impact and or have a spare rudder on board, which you can do, you can change them easily. And so that's my philosophy there. I do believe rudder damage is a major issue, as you know.
Well, the other thing is on the ocean race bikes is, both you and I know, they actually practice. They would practice changing rudders. The same with the Vendée Globe. They have techniques where they practice changing rudders. I guess I'm just saying, because sort of safety is a big thing. It'd be probably good to have a system worked out, whatever boat you've got. If you're going to sea on any boat.
Just to really sort of touch on that, moving forward, the spare gudgeons that we had on the Volvos, Bicey, back in the day, and you had them on the 65s, is that something that we could think about with your experience in this area? Is it something that new boats could be thinking about?
So just for the listener, at the end of the 70s, career. And then the 65s, the actual spare rudder was the exact same rudder that came out of the bearings. So it went up inside the bearings or off some gudgeons.
Yep.
So either or. So if you had the time, you could actually get rid of the old rudder if the stock broke, at the hull, for example. Get rid of the stock and put the rudder in. Whereas the Volvo 60s, it was more a cassette style system into gudgeons with a blade, which is literally you can't race then. The way that the 70s and the 65s were set up is you're racing. You're still racing once that's replaced.
And it's the same with my X2. It's the same.
And in saying that, being on a couple of boats and done a few safety audits, no one actually goes into too much detail with it, to tell you the honest truth.
Yeah.
Where's your emergency steering? Oh, we just put a drogue over the back.
No. Yeah. Got an aluminium pole here. I attach it to that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We attach, you bolt that onto a floorboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use a spinnaker pole and just put a bit of a pin through it.
So no, you're right, Jordan.
It needs to be thought about.
It is something that a bit more work needs to be done, and maybe it's got to be demonstrated, like putting up a tristle.
Yeah. Look, if I get on a boat, I want to know where all the safety gear is, and I think if you are going to be sailing in the middle of the ocean, you want to know how to change your rudder or what you're going to do. At least have a plan worked out what you're going to do. Maybe if you're on a boat, just start thinking about it and discussing it, because it's the right time rather than when the shit hits the fan.
When you go in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next, boss.
Next. No, I'm pretty much done.
There's some controversy. There is some controversy.
Talk to me. What about? What's the secret?
I got a message during the week.
I don't know either. I'm not involved.
Regarding the Cherubs, we talked about Banjo Nicholson and a certain friend of ours, I guess, Nathan Quirk, sent me a note saying, Jesus, mate, it's a team. You got to mention the forward hand.
Correct.
And I said, well, I did.
Unusual for you, Jordan, to not mention this.
Yeah, I did. But we did focus in on Banjo. And he said, well, you didn't quite mention my nephew enough.
Yeah.
That old chestnut.
So
self-interest only.
No, I'm not saying that about Nathan. Great man.
No, not at all.
No.
G'day, Nathan, by the way.
Yeah.
You got quirky.
So I think, what's he working for? He's working for one of the America's Cup teams.
Alingi. He's in Barcelona right now as we speak. Yep. Yeah.
So anyway, so the quality of people involved in that Cherub winning team, and the fact that they're both teenage, young blokes, like mid-teens, in the Cherubs, which is such a cool looking little boat. And then you actually go through the list. One of the things that jumps out to me when I look through some of these intermediate classes is how many of our mates' kids are out there sailing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I am taking from it. But yeah, so apologies to Thomas Steenson. And if I didn't mention you enough, I did actually attribute it to you, but I just Nath gave me some grief, so I will respond to that.
Uncle Nath,
yeah, and a super cool bloke.
Yes.
Another thing I got sent a little note was the results from the Fort Lauderdale to Key West race, which is part of their Southern Ocean Racing Conference in the US, which is cool. There's a lot of events going on. Sail Paradise we'll probably talk about next week, but I looked at the results. Did you guys have a quick look at the results?
I didn't look at the results, but I do have some results after this, actually.
Okay. Well, the reason I bring it up, I looked at, OSC Division 1 is TP52, a car keek 40, a Cookson, a Class 40, a Class 40, a Class 40. And then you go into RSC2 and it's J122, J122, J120, J111, J122, J121, J122, and then a First 47 and a Club Swan and a FAR 395. The Yanks have a type, is what I'm trying to get to. The number of J-boats that live in the US, but that Class 40 sort of size, I didn't realise that was so big in the States.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like I just
kind of a class that's kind of moved in different areas. around.
This is
Cool
another
boats.
example of a boat that sort of can be used, a bit more sort of versatile, a good size.
Yeah.
But they're liking the idea of shorter handing type of
Yeah.
sailing as well.
Yeah.
It's a new thing. This sort of short, not so much double handed, but 3, 4, 5 people on a boat that size. It's manageable.
Yeah.
And that's why that's going down that path.
No, super interesting, super cool. And then the other thing I got during the weekend, I don't remember who sent it, but I think I got tagged in a Facebook post about the Trans-Tasman event coming up. Have you guys seen that? It's the solo Trans-Tasman yacht race, the challenge, which used to finish here where I live, but now it's finishing on the Gold Coast. It's the 50th running of the Trans-Tasman. So it's a single-hander race from New Zealand across to Australia, the K1W1, sending...
Yep.
Yeah, so from New Plymouth, I think it goes. And it used to end at Mooloolaba, but got to say the entrance to Mooloolaba is challenging on its own, let alone for a single hand.
Times.
Yeah, the best of times. And often your keel won't fit through. But not that the Gold Coast is often that easy sometimes. So it's the 50th anniversary of the Trans-Tasman Yacht Challenge, and it will be ending in Southport for those who are interested. But that is due to kick off in about 3 months. So the 9th of April is when it's due to go. So we'll follow that with interest. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more next week, because I think we might try and talk for a few minutes on Sail Paradise, and then also just have a little bit more knowledge on this is my thought process.
So, gents, I've got one for you, and it'd be amiss of me not to mention the 79th Sharpie Nationals, which are going on at the moment.
So many.
It would be a miss.
At time of recording, there's still 1 day left, the final day, and it's pretty tight up at the top. We have shooting blanks, and actually, you know what, Jordan? They should mention the crew here as well.
Yes.
Well, always just
I
got
agree.
the skipper.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
at the moment, top 3 shooting blanks, good name, on 25 points. Sassy Foods, good cardone, part of a cardone. Alex Blacker, 29 points with our 4th leg, Harry Fisher on the wire, and good mate Keeney in the middle. And then part of your clan now, Brett Higgins, Angus Higgins, steering Mao Higgins' boat. Focus in 3rd on 31 points. And then we got an old stalwart in the Sharpies, yachting in general, in 4th, Mark
Sosby, proving it can be done.
Wow.
So two races to go. And that's the current status. We'll have full results, full wrap-up next week.
So young Angus, he spent the whole season training 470s, doing the world tour on the 470s, was on the wire on the 5.0 Worlds, and now he just steered a Sharpie to 3rd at the Nationals.
Well, they're not 3rd yet. They could potentially...
lying 3rd. Copy.
Yeah. So
it was a topic of conversation at the family dinner last night.
Yeah.
That is affirmative.
Yeah. I love it.
So all well wishes to go. It goes out to the entire fleet anyway. It's a great regard.
Well wishes to your especially to your nephew Angus there.
my new nephew.
Actually,
no.
Just as a finish off it, you know how you took the piss out of me all last week when I mentioned how you look at some
last week,
last 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure.
Anyway, but last week specifically. You mentioned you look at some fleets and there's people that just you don't even think about, and there's these people that dominate, and then you just ripped into me about because you said I was about impulses and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got a Facebook friend request from a bloke called Mick Brown who just won his 9th impulse national champs in a row. I've never spoken to the guy.
What a legend!
But the legend himself has reached out. So Mick Brown, 9 impulse national champs.
That's still impressive, isn't it?
It
doesn't matter what you're sailing in. To have nine championships is a special effort for sure.
It's very special. I can't imagine. I guess it's going to be. You wouldn't want to just try and step in that class and win it. I would suggest is what. But yeah. No, good on him.
You give it a crack, though.
No, I'm not even slightly interested in trying to win anything at the moment. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's us, boys. Is there anything else?
I think that's us.
Good from my side. BP, get your guitar out and wake up your family members.
I will. I'll get them out. Here we go. Let's get it on.
And let's get fired up about the ocean race now, and of course the ROC Transatlantic and all the sailing, all those boats competing in Australian champs and racing.
Here's to eating.
Yeah, everyone in Adelaide, come down and see what's
Finn started.
CYT, South Australia.
The Finn started at RQ this week, I think. I'll have to rush down. Speaking of average size blokes. Yeah, right. BP, how did you sing and talk at the same time?
Very, very skilled.
Circular breathing.
Yeah.